Hello everyone, hope you're doing great. Today we're gonna have a shorter and educational video in a way. So we are going to be talking about Tarkov settings in order to get some more FPS on your game, and also my personal post effects that I'm using to make things a little bit clearer, a little bit better, more vibrant. Like default Tarkov without the post effects is a little bit weird and too much of gray. But without further ado, let's see what we got here. I'll try to make some very short and brief explanations on every setting without going too much into detail about it. So, graphic settings. Current computer has an i7 8700K processor and a GTX 1080. I know it's kind of an old system. So as you would have guessed, I've tried many times to optimize my settings as much as I can because this game runs like shit sometimes on my computer. So texture quality medium. Low, it becomes too grainy and too like unplayable in a way. I think low is not a good idea. Um, the FPS difference I've noticed is between like 5 and 6 frames between each quality. So from going from high to medium, you gain at least a minimum of 6 FPS more on your average gameplay. Shadows quality, I don't think in this game shadows matter too much to be fair. Shadows being on low also give you some extra FPS. Generally speaking, shading in games can be taxing in FPS without offering too much. LOD quality, I have it at 2.5. I used to play on 3. I have also tested on 2. I think 2.5 works the best in terms of performance to quality ratio. Overall visibility, technically speaking, you want to have this at around 1500 to 2000 around this match. You definitely do not want to go less than 1000 because this affects your rendering distance, which includes like enemies, structures, loot, anything. So especially if you're using scoped weapons and stuff like that and you want to see ahead, I would suggest having it over 1000 meters. The sweet spot for me is 1500, not sacrificing too much FPS and pretty much covers most of the basic distances for all maps. Now, as I have a GTX 1080, I do not have access to DLSS technology. However, in my specific card, and also if you have older card like me, or perhaps an AMD card, there is the AMD FSR 2.2 that you can use. I have it on quality. I have tested all of them. Anything other than quality makes things very grainy, glitches sometimes, like some sort of misrenderings of trees and objects in the distance, which can confuse you and also don't look very nice. So having it on quality is the best option I could get to get a couple frames more. Of course, you can use DLSS as well if you have like a newer NVIDIA card. But if you're using FSR, definitely quality. HBO off. I used to have this on max performance, but even on max performance, it's kind of taxing and it doesn't add too much to the game itself. So turn it off. SSR on low. You don't have to turn this off. The thing with this is that yes, it is taxing some FPS, but SSR even on low makes things more cleaner for you to see and distinguish like people from objects. So I would suggest having it at least on low, and if you have some extra FPS to spare, maybe medium. But low works perfectly fine for me. Anisotropic filtering off, it's not necessary in my opinion. It's for the smooth edges and stuff like that on objects and things, not worth the frames. NVIDIA Reflex low latency, you can have it on or on plus boost. I personally have it on because I have undervolted and underclocked my GPU due to some technical problems it has with temperatures. And sometimes when I turn it on plus boost, it reverts those changes, which I do not want. So I just have it on and not on plus boost, but you can try on plus boost. Sharpness doesn't matter overly too much. I just have it at default at 1. Low FPS also, we do not care about that. Down here, you want to untick absolutely everything except If you're doing Streets of Tarkov, you should tick this one. Streets of Tarkov lower texture resolution mode. It does boost your FPS by a little bit. I've done quite a few raids on Streets of Tarkov and I've seen it helps kinda. The map still runs like shit, but it will help you a little bit. Now this is all for the basic settings. Of course I didn't go through the screen mode and your monitors and stuff like that, because I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Just if you're alt-tabbing and stuff, use borderless or having multiple screens, or otherwise use full screen and stuff like that. So let's see post effects. After explaining the post effects, I'll also show you a before post effects and after enabled post effects difference, so you'll see how much different this game actually looks with these settings. So, brightness on plus 26, just a little bit brighter. Saturation on maximum. Clarity, now a lot of people might say, why is clarity on the negative? You'll see why, you'll see. I found this to be much more helpful with these settings as a combination. You'll see the difference and tell me if you like it. Of course, post effects can be a little bit personal preference, but in any case. Colorfulness at 55, Luma Sharpen 40, Adaptive Sharpen 30. Color grading we want to choose none, Intensity 80, Colorblind mode, well, if you're colorblind, I guess you can choose something, but for normal players, none, and intensity 0. And we click save. Now, before we close this video up, let's check some extra settings that we can tweak in order to help our game out a little bit more. Have a huge impact on performance? It has some. However, I have found out that around 70 FOV is the best for fighting in this game and stuff like that, because just experience testing and not having like actual display of what I mean, I have found out that 70 is the sweet spot for me. Also, you should check only use physical cores. Automatic RAM cleaner, I don't think it's necessary anymore. You also want to put your, this is very important guys, I'll explain why. You also want to put your vaulting over medium obstacles, you want to have this on hotkey. Never have it on auto, never. It has been proven, even by other YouTubers, if you have watched Gigabeef perhaps, that makes a lot of videos on Tarkov. It has been proven that this option on auto drains a lot of the game FPS due to a bug. So always have this on hotkey. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this small video. I hope the post effect is something you like. I hope that these settings will give you a few extra frames to play your game normally. And I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you again for watching. Bye!